You won't believe the shocking events that unfolded in Fairfax, Virginia. A 25-year-old Brazilian nanny, Juliana Peres Magalhães, has just been sentenced to 10 years in prison for her direct involvement in the murder of her own employer, a crime that also involved her secret lover in a meticulously planned, chilling plot. The story is not only shocking, but also full of twists, suspense, and details that could easily be mistaken for a dark thriller movie. Juliana moved from the quiet countryside of São Paulo to the United States as part of an au pair program. This program allows young people to live with an American family, care for children, and receive room, board, and a weekly stipend. What was meant to be a cultural and professional opportunity soon turned into a nightmare of deception, manipulation, and unimaginable violence. She began working at the home of Brendan and Christine Banfield, a seemingly normal family in Fairfax, a small town just about 30 minutes from Washington, D.C. The Banfields had a young daughter, only 3.5 years old at the time, who would unknowingly become a witness to the dark events that would unfold. Brendan Banfield, 40, was a criminal investigator for the U.S. Internal Revenue Service, IRS, a position that gave him knowledge of law enforcement procedures and a sense of control over situations that ordinary people might not have. Christine, his wife, was 37 and worked as a neonatal nurse, dedicated to caring for the most vulnerable infants. Juliana initially described her relationship with Christine as warm and friendly. The two would even spend time together outside of work, shopping or running errands, giving the appearance of a normal and positive bond. However, the relationship with Brendan slowly transformed in ways that were both intimate and dangerous. According to Juliana's testimony, during the early months in 2022, she barely spoke with him, but by August of that year, their connection became romantic and sexual, setting the stage for a dark and deadly alliance. In the month that followed, Juliana discreetly shared photos and videos with Brendan on social media, always ensuring his face remained hidden. It was in October 2022 that the sinister plan began to take shape. Brendan told Juliana that divorce was not an option, as it would mean sharing custody of their daughter and dividing family assets. Instead, he began describing, in chilling detail, a plot to eliminate Christine in a way that would appear accidental or the result of another person's actions. At first, Juliana believed he was joking, but as he elaborated further, she realized he was serious, and every part of the plan was carefully thought out and highly calculated. The plan also involved Joseph Ryan, a 39-year-old man. They lured to the house through a fake social media profile, pretending to be Christine on a BDSM platform. Brendan's intention was to use Ryan as a scapegoat for murder. Juliana detailed in court how the fake account was set up, how messages were sent, and how Ryan was selected because he seemed willing to comply with their requests and bring specific items, such as handcuffs, ropes, and even a knife. Brendan was meticulous, disappointed when Ryan's knife did not match the one he envisioned. He wanted a pointed blade that would facilitate the act. Every step was methodically considered to make the crime seem plausible and to mislead investigators. In preparation for crime, the couple took extraordinary precautions. They visited a shooting range multiple times so Juliana could be ready just in case something went wrong. Brendan replaced the house windows with soundproof versions and tested them to ensure that no neighbors could hear anything. He walked around the neighborhood checking for cameras, adjusted his daily routines, and even swapped phones with Juliana to erase traces of incriminating messages. She was instructed to park her car in unusual spots to prevent Ryan from noticing any extra vehicle. The meticulous level of preparation reflects a chilling attention to detail and foresight that is difficult to comprehend. On February 24th, 2023, the day of the murder, Juliana took the couple's daughter out of the house under the pretense of a trip to the zoo, while Brendan went to a nearby diner, carrying a gun. But the plan did not unfold exactly as intended. Upon returning to the house, Juliana found Ryan on top of Christine, holding her on the bed. That's when Brendan began stabbing Christine multiple times. Juliana's court testimony described a horrifying scene. Christine begged for her life, even asking to die, while Brendan said he could not control himself. The room was filled with terror as Juliana hid, covering her eyes and ears, feeling the warm, real blood on the carpet beneath her hands. At one point, Ryan was still alive, and Juliana fired her weapon at him. After the murders, Brendan instructed Juliana to call 911. reporting an intruder. Audio recordings released by the court captured Juliana in a state of panic, struggling to provide the address while Brendan took control of the call. Juliana later admitted that she initially gave false statements to police to protect Brendan, and even misled her own lawyers at the beginning of the investigation. The trial revealed letters that Juliana had sent to Brendan's family, in which she attempted to take full responsibility for crimes to shield her lover, while also expressing fear of spending her life in prison. She also disclosed that she had been contacted by producers interested in turning her story into a documentary or series, including possible adaptation for Netflix. This further complicated public perception and added an additional layer of controversy to the case. Brendan Banfield was described by the Fairfax County prosecutor as monstrous. During the trial, prosecutors highlighted his cold demeanor, unusual behavior, and lack of human emotion expected of a husband witnessing the brutal death of his wife. Brendan's defense, however, argued that Juliana's version of events was entirely false, questioned the evidence, and claimed she accepted the plea deal for personal gain, including time served and potential media benefits. Juliana was ultimately sentenced to 10 years in prison, plus 2 years of probation. She agreed to cooperate with prosecutors, ensuring a lighter sentence than what she would have faced otherwise. Brendan remains charged with multiple counts of aggravated homicide and firearm violations, maintaining his innocence. This case shocked not only the small community of Fairfax, but also drew international attention, revealing how secrets, infidelity, manipulation, and calculated cruelty can turn an apparently ordinary life into a scene of horror. And you have to ask yourself, could anyone have imagined that a simple nanny job would become the setting for such a macabre, manipulative, and bloody crime? The layers of betrayal, planning, and cold calculation make this case one of the most chilling examples of crime in recent years, leaving questions about human nature, morality, and the extreme lengths people go to for love, obsession, or greed.